routine that involves quite a lot of work for exercises for your obliques, so working your waist. But we're going to start lying down today. So get yourself into position. So you're coming into base position, shoulders back and down, and just checking that you are in a neutral position. So more or less exactly what you do when starting up. Make sure your feet are hip width distance apart. Try not to have the heels too close to the hips, otherwise it just makes your pelvis tilt. So get a little bit of space between the hips and your heels, and that way your spine will lengthen. Have a little bit of a roll. So you want the shoulders back and down. And just check your pelvis is in neutral. So your hip bones and pubic bone should be level. If you're not sure, do a few little pelvic tilts. So pressing the lower back into the mat, then lifting it away from the floor. That's it. And gradually reducing that little rocking movement until you feel that your pelvis feels level, so the hip bones and the pubic bone are even. And that should make sure that you've got the natural curve in your lower back. You should be able to feel the sacrum, that flat bit at the bottom of your spine, your shoulder blades and the ribs touching with the floor. So you've created that natural curve into your spine. A couple of deep breaths just to remind you to breathe into the ribs. Engaging your tummy muscles, pelvic floor, making sure both feet are firm on the floor. So being aware of whether this starts to happen or your feet start to roll, try and keep your big toes, little toes, centre of the heels on the mat. Okay, now as you breathe, just gently turn the head to one side, back to the centre, and then to the other. Being aware of gently pressing your shoulders down into the mat to keep neutral. Just watch you don't pop up here, so you don't want the ribs to stick up. Okay, pressing your chin to the chest, and then tilting it the other way. So just creating a little bit of an arch into your cervical spine, sticking your chin to the ceiling very gently, and then pressing it down again. Give yourself a few double chins, and then pressing it back up. So we're just stretching these muscles here, and then coming back into neutral. Floating the arms up in front, and then over your head, so into a relatively comfortable circle. Not trying to touch the floor, just moving comfortably and smoothly. Breathing in as they go over, breathing out as they circle. So you see I'm miles away from the floor. It just feels manageable and natural to change direction, keeping your chin tucked in. So lengthening through the back of your neck. Your feet firm on the floor. And again, just circle the arms to where it feels. Not as if you're pushing, but just a nice gentle circle. And then bring your hands down by your sides. Excellent. Now we're going to get a little bit of rotation. So we've got our feet hip width distance apart, so we need to warm up these oblique muscles. So keeping the shoulders down, chin lightly tucked in, just gently roll your knees to one side. Let your feet lift, let your hip lift, even let the ribs lift, and then come back to the centre, and then to the other side. So just starting to warm up these muscles. Breathing out as you roll, try and keep the head still, don't let it join in, but do keep your chin tucked in, and your shoulders down. That's feeling quite nice. You probably find that you can feel that the muscles of the waist are starting to lengthen a little bit, allowing you to get a little bit closer to the floor. You will have a sense that your feet are moving away from you, but that's okay. You can always adjust them when we finish. Okay, one more to each side. So aiming for roughly 5 to each side, just to warm up those waist muscles. And then back to the centre. So just check your feet position. Make sure the hip width distance apart. So do roll about a little bit with that. Excellent. Okay, now I'm going to do some little abdominal curls just to get some curve into your spine, just like you would do when you do your standing warm-up, in that you go to a roll down. So if you just pop both hands behind your head, just let the elbows drop out to the side, so you're cradling the head with your hands. Breathe out and just curl up. Look to your knees. Breathe in to release. So firm pressure through both feet. Try not to squeeze your buttocks. but use your tummy and lift your pelvic floor. Breathe out as you curl up, initiating it off from these upper abs. And breathe in to lower. Excellent. Now let's just bring your hands and bring them onto your thighs. So we're going to try and create a little bit more curve into the spine. Still don't use your glutes though, just use your tummy and your pelvic floor. So tuck in the chin, lift the head, breathe out, slide the hands up towards your knees, so lifting a little bit more of your upper back off the mat, and then relax down. Use your tummy, not your buttocks. Okay, reach the hands towards your knees, and slowly down. So if you do feel this a little bit uncomfortable in your neck, try not to leave the head behind. So if you notice I'm lifting my head first, tuck in the chin, then peeling up. Don't try and do it the other way. Heads are very heavy. Okay, one more. And back. Yeah, excellent. Now draw the knees gently in towards the chest. Pull, so as if you're trying to lift your tailbone off the mat. And tuck in your chin. Lift up and get a nice stretch into your back. And then bring your feet back down to the floor. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to move into some scissors from this position. Have your arms down by your sides for now. We're going to do the leg exercise of scissors, and then we're going to add some arm work. So, testing your coordination skills basically. Lifting the feet one at a time into tabletop. Making sure the knees are above the hips, shin parallel to the ceiling. Remember, when you come into this position, press the shoulders down, keep your chin tucked in, lengthen through the back of your neck. Moving from the hip joint, take one foot down, tap the floor, lift it back up, and change. Nice and slow. Look for the movement from the hip joint. It's so tempting just to tuck the foot down like that, without really moving your leg. Try and move from the hip, so you're not moving this joint at all. So it's the leg that's going down, you're coming from your thigh down, so it's a hammer action. Now keep that movement going if you can, just do as many reps as you feel comfortable. If you need to stop, have a breather, please do. We're going to take both arms straight up in front. Now we're going to add arm and leg movement. This time we're going to do same arm, same leg. So as the arm goes down, take the leg down, bring it back, and switch. Keeping your shoulders back and down, press your hips into the mat. So use those upper abdominals. So you don't want the feeling of your spine arching. Again, try and move from the hip and the shoulder. Lead with your thumbs and your little fingers. Keep going. Using the tummy muscles, pulling in gently. Well done, nearly there. Breathing out as the limbs go down, in as they come back, last two. So thighs should be starting to scream a little bit, abs maybe. And then come down gently. Well done, have a stretch. Oh, that's lovely. Nice big stretch, making sure the stretch goes down through your abs. Lovely. Okay, now roll onto your side and come up onto your elbow. We're going to do a little bit of side bend. So making sure the elbow is just underneath your shoulder. We'll bend the knees, both legs together this time, land at the heels with your tailbone. Your instinctive reaction as you come into this position is to sink. Try not to. So lift the ribs away from the mat, hand to your thigh. Now if you do have a sore shoulder, and you find putting the weight into the shoulder hard, just put the other hand on the floor in front. So I'm going to use your knees and your forearm, but use your obliques. And slowly just lift your hips and pop them back down. And again, breathe out to lift. Breathe in to lower. Now if you do have back pain, so if you've got a sad slip disc and it's a little bit weak, do miss this out. It's not suitable for anyone who's had a slip disc, particularly if the disc has gone to one side or the other. Not so bad forward and back, but to the sides. If you wanted to make it a little bit harder, you could add the arm, press your hip to the ceiling, and then lower back down. Think this part of your hip going up, not forward. So you're pressing that hip towards the ceiling, not letting it roll forward. Okay, 2 more. And down. So this is working into here. 1 more. And relax it down. Well done. Now just swing the legs around to the other side. We're just going to do the other side because it's still starting to get those muscles warmed up before we make it a little bit more challenging. So line up the heels with your tailbone. Again, make sure the elbows are underneath the shoulder. Lift the ribs away from the floor. This is your weaker side. You might want to put the hand on the floor. Get tummy in. Breathe in. As you breathe out, just lift your hips and breathe in to lower. Pressing in through the shoulders. You're going to feel it in here, into that upper arm. Use these muscles to press that hip to the ceiling. Try not to let the feet slide away from each other. And if you want to make it harder, add the arm. So think again, hip to ceiling. Don't let it come forward. Breathe out. And breathe in. And again. And down, well done, 1 more time. Excellent. Just come up into a sitting position. Sitting either cross-legged or soles the feet together, knees out. And just a little mermaid stretch, which will just release those obliques. Just 1 to each side. And it just helps release the shoulders a little bit. Excellent. So sitting in this position, so you can stay cross-legged, legs bent, soles the feet together. Take your arms out to the side for a little bit of spine twist. So breathe out to twist. Breathe in to return. Keeping the shoulders down and the chest lifted. So remember, your spine twist doesn't need to be massive. See a lot of people trying to do this, trying to go further. Your spine doesn't go very far when you're twisting your lumbar spine. Your lumbar vertebrae are the biggest. They don't allow a lot of rotation. So you should just really be twisting so your nose is probably level with your knee, certainly not to a 90-degree angle. Use your tummy and keep your hips still. Last 2. Last 1. And then back to the center. Well done. Another little mermaid stretch to release. And then down. Excellent. Okay, now we're going to try and up it a little bit, make it a little bit more challenging. So, we're going to come onto hands and knees. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath your hips. We're going to go into a plank position. If you struggle with your wrists, you could do this on your forearms, putting the feet back and come down, getting your hips parallel to the floor. Or you could stay on hands and knees, tuck your toes under, and take the other foot back. So you're in your plank position. Again, we're going to focus on the twist. So this time, look at your feet. The feet are going to drop to the floor. Your hips twist, reach and stretch the arm up. Bring the hand back down and return to the center. Check your position and repeat to the other side. It's quite a tough one. So if you think, oh no, too much, feel free to miss it out and move on. Easier option, so I'll just do the easy option for some of you, is to do it on your forearms. So you still twist the feet and reach up. Back down, center, other side, and reach. Gives you a little bit more stability, particularly if you struggle with your shoulders. And then lower, back down onto the floor. Well done. As you come down onto the mat, bring your arms down by your sides and just flatten yourself to the floor. Bringing your legs tight together, squeeze your bum, tuck your chin in. So we're going to work on these muscles here, which is your obliques on the back. Breathe in. As you breathe out, lift the chest, hold, hands against your thighs, breathe in. And breathe out to lower. Keep the chin tucked in, use those arms reaching down the sides of your legs. This is called a dart. Now we're going to add a little bit of a bend here to target those oblique muscles. Keeping your feet tight together, legs together, lift, hold, slide one hand down the side of the leg, return to the centre, repeat to the other side, to the centre, and lower back there. And a bit, lift, hold, slide the hand down, centre. Try and keep both hips connecting with the floor. So, focusing on the side bend, try not to twist at this point. Feet tight together. Side bend, return. Side bend, return. Use your head, because your spine will go where your head goes. So you're going to tilt the head as if you're trying to put your ear onto the shoulder. And then sit. Let's go for one more if you can. Breathe out to lift, hold, slide the hand down, keep breathing. Other side. And then relax it down. Well done. Let the legs flop. Have a little breather. Whew. You need to release your back after that. So gently push yourself back up onto the hands and knees. And into cat stretch. So arching your spine very carefully. We're getting a lovely big stretch. Slowly take the stretch the other way. And look up. Arching again. And then one more time. Let the tummy drop. And look up. Excellent. Now coming back down onto your tummy. This time you're going to just pop the hands underneath your shoulders. Not too close, just a little bit out, so still on the mat. And take your feet wide, turn them out. So head comes down onto the floor. Now you're going to bend your knees, bring your ankles and just cross your ankles. Pressing your hips into the mat. Breathe in, as you breathe out, pulse your heels towards your bum for 4, 3, 2, 1. Take your legs down. Pressing into the floor, lift the chest, peel up and look up. So bending the body back the other way. Hold and then slowly roll back down all the way to the floor. Crossing your ankles again, the other way around, and pulse for 4, 3, 2, 1. Take the feet down. Breathe out. Lift the head. Peel the chest away from the mat. See if you can come up a little bit taller. Relax the shoulders. Not necessarily trying to straighten your elbows. And slowly roll down. Forehead to the floor. Cross your ankles and pulse for 4, 3, 2, 1. Take them down, keep the turn out, peel up, and look up, shoulders down, tummy in, and roll back down slowly. Crossing the ankles again, last time, pulse 4, 3, 2, 1, hands down, still keep it turned out, lift the head, peel up nice and gently, look up, and roll back down. Excellent. Straighten the legs up, release your back by pushing back into child pose. Hips to the heels, head down. And a nice big stretch through those arms. Excellent. Okay, let's turn you around and come into a sitting position along your mat. So we're going to do a series of half roll-ups, adding legs and a little bit of arm. You can do it holding weights if you want to. So hold your arms out in front, sit up tall. Breathe in, tilt the pelvis, spine goes into a C shape. Roll back halfway, hold, breathe in, breathe out, round forward, and sit up straight. And repeat. This is just your basic roll up. If you're a beginner, keep your hands behind your knees to give yourself a little bit of support so that you can focus on those abdominals. If you're an improver, you should be able to do it without having hands behind your knees. Round forward and restack. Now we're going to add a leg this time. So tilt, roll back, hold, extend one leg out, replace, change legs, replace, and round forward, and sit up straight. Note the leg was off the mat, not along the floor. And again, tilt, go back, keep your shoulders down, extend, replace, extend, replace, round forward, and sit up straight. Now you can stay at that level, or you could make it a little bit more challenging by lifting the leg and then extending it. Lift the other one and extend. Bend, lower the first one, then the second one, round forward, and sit up straight. A little bit more challenging, you should feel it in your tummy. Tilt, roll back. So keeping that C shape, hold, lift, extend, bend, replace, replace, round forward, and sit up straight. Good. Two more, whichever one you're doing. Lift, extend, bend, replace, round forward, and restack. Last time. Back you go. Keep your shoulders nice and relaxed. Look straight ahead. Watch your legs. And down, round forward, and relax. Now if you're finding that that's too much, just stick with the previous option, just holding the leg parallel to the floor. From here we're going to add a twist. Remember, we're focusing on obliques. So initially legs bent, arms out in front. Still starting the same, tilt. Now as you roll back though, take one hand behind you, follow with your eyes, so you're opening up the front of the chest, bring it back as you round forward and sit up straight, other side. So tilt, roll back, reach back behind. Now if you're anything like me, you find one side's easier than the other, always. So much more mobile and flexible on the left, but always feel a bit tighter when I twist to the right. Be aware of what your legs are doing. Try not to let them drop together or flop out to the side. Now for those of you who do like to challenge, we are going to add a little bit more to this. So beginners, you might think, oh no, that's enough. That's okay, have a little breather, have a rest. For those of you who want to work a little bit harder, as you go back, lift the opposite foot. So you get a little bit of counterbalance there, but make sure you use your tummy to help you with your balance. So you try and balance onto your sacrum. So making sure you're tucking the tail under, going back far enough to feel your sacrum, so that you get that centre of gravity in the right place. And back. Whew, can feel that now into the waist. Last two. And back. And last one. And back. Excellent. Stretch your legs out. Lift up out of the hips and stretch into spine stretch. So spine stretch, feet should be hip width distance apart. If you can reach them, grab hold and pull. If you can't, just reach forward over the toes or towards your toes. And release. So think about lifting up out of the hips and stretching forward. And back up to sitting. Now we're going to have the legs together, we're going to try a full roll up. So beginners, don't worry if you can't do this, I'll give you an easier option. Down you go, nice and slowly. Take the arms over your head. Breathe in, float the arms up, tuck in the chin, peel your spine off the mat as you press your back into the floor, sit up straight and then go into that spine stretch, touching the toes if you want to and if you can. So if you struggle and you get to a point where you feel that you're stuck, try and avoid using one arm to push yourself up. So the easiest way to do it if you do struggle is as you get to there, bring your knees up, hook the hands in the back and just rock gently up and then go forward into the stretch. It's not cheating, it's a an easier adaptation. It does help work your tummy muscles and you will get to the point where suddenly you'll come up and realise that you didn't use your knees. So the arms come up, you peel up, you think, oh no, I'm stuck. Bring your legs up and roll gently up and forward into stretch. And again, this is number 4, yes. So if you find that's too easy but you still can't quite get up, you could do it one-legged. So you could bring the arms up, tuck in the chin, lift the shoulders, bring one knee up, and rock up just holding one leg, and then forward into stretch. Obviously balance yourself up so both legs get a go, so we'll do one more so we can use the other leg. So again, the arms come up, tuck in the chin, bring the other knee up, grab hold, and rock up. Sit up straight and forward into that stretch. Now, from this position, I want you to lean back onto your elbows. Again, if you've got sore shoulders, just be careful. So as you come back, you just tuck in the hands into the small of the back. Get your elbows in as close as towards the centre of the back as possible, so that they're nearly underneath your shoulders. Bend your knees so the feet are flat. Now, your tendency in this position is to be like that. Try and lift your lower back off the mat. Feet and knees together. And we'll just do a little gentle roll, moving the hips. Feet flat on the floor. So again, we're getting into your waist. Breathing out to roll, hold, breathe in, breathe out, return, other side. Now just check that lower back is not sinking into the floor. Well done, one more. And back to the centre. Now keep your feet, or take your feet hip width distance apart. Keep your hands where they are. Keep the chest lifted. Now just try and lift the breastbone a little bit more. Press into the hands, breathe in as you breathe out, push up into a sitting. As you come up into that sitting, you want a nice V shape at the hip joints. Lift your chin, look straight up so you're opening the chest. Slowly, if you can, bend your elbows and lower yourself back down to the mat without bending your spine. So you don't want to sink, let it control it all through your abs. Again, press into the mat and lift. Lift the breastbone, squeeze the shoulder blades together so you're opening up into the chest and slowly down. And 3. Try and be symmetrical, so as you're going down, try and get both elbows to connect with the mat together. Now that's the tricky bit. You'll find your dominant side will want to take over. And slowly back. You might find your feet a little bit too close to your hips, so if necessary, just move them out a little bit. Okay, last one. Hold, breathe in, and breathe out slowly back. Excellent. Let's just have a little stretch. So lower yourself down. Take your arms back, above your head, straight the legs, press your back onto the floor. So have a full body stretch. So that could be enough for you for your shoulders today, which is fine. You might want to watch the next bit, or till you get to the section that you can cope with, because we are going to come back up into that position. So tucking the elbows in underneath you, bending your knees again, feet and knees together. So this is a little bit more advanced. Lift your feet this time into tabletop. Now try and keep both elbows and hands on the floor and just roll your knees and hips to one side. Hold, come back to the center and repeat to the other side. Hold, breathe in, breathe out back to the center. And keep the feet and knees tight together as much as you can. Keep your ribs and your shoulders still. So you're just looking for that rotation from your waist. Again, we're getting into those oblique muscles. And again. Try not to sink into the shoulders. Keep lifting your breastbone and your ribs away from the floor. So you should still have space in your lower back. Oh, really feeling that now. Last two. And last one. And feet to the floor. And roll back down. And stretch again. Well done. Oh, yes, you've got into those obliques that time. Oh, well done. Have a little breather. Excellent. Okay, let's get you back onto your side. So for a side kick, we normally get you to lie on your hip, using your arm as a pillow, legs stretched out. So this time what I want you to do is to come up onto that elbow. So again, this gets right into here a little bit more. Bend the bottom leg just a little bit, but think about your positions. Again, you're lifting your ribs away from the mat, you're lifting out of this shoulder. Stack the shoulders, hips, and line up your ankle with your hip to your shoulder to your ear, hand to your thigh. Breathe in as you breathe out, just lift that top leg as high as you can and lower it back down. And again, lift and lower. Resting the hand on that leg can act a bit like a weight. Watch your ribs are not sinking into the floor now. You should be starting to feel this right down the side of your leg as well as into here. And the more you do, you might find you're getting a little bit higher. My arm is going closer up the side of my leg. So 3, 2, last one. Excellent. Now, as you bring that bent knee forward a little bit, and then bend the back leg, and just push yourself up onto your hands so that you're looking towards the end of your mat. Keeping the back leg bent, we're going to lift and lower. Relax the shoulders, try not to touch the floor. Keep the right ankle at the knee joint. 3, 4, 5, 5 more, and 4, burny, 3, 2, last one. Excellent. Come back onto that elbow. Stretch the leg back behind you, keep your hand on the floor, have a bit of a stretch there, and then just bend your knee and pull the heel in. Just stretch it out. And then if you want to, you put the hand down the front, grab hold, and gently pull. Again, watch you don't sink into that supporting shoulder. And relax. Good. Let's do that on the other side. So swing the legs over. So up onto your elbow. Stack the joints, bend your knee, lift away from the floor, lift out of the shoulder, hand onto the leg. So into those thigh raises. So then go up and down, not necessarily touching the floor. Keeping the shoulders down, use your tummy, lift the ribs away from the mat. And as you can see, my legs start to get a little bit higher with each one. Watch you not bending here and rolling back onto your buttock. So I'm still on that bony bit of the hip. 4 more. And 3. And 2. Last one. Obviously, if you find this is too much, you can go back down onto the underarm. Excellent. Now, bend the knee forward, bend that one back. Twist, push yourself up on both hands. You could stay on your elbows if you're struggling, lift that back leg. And again, so bring up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then back down up to the elbows, stretch the leg back out behind you, bend your knee, grab hold, and pull. And release, popping the hand down, and gently pull. Again, just lift away from the floor, make sure you're not sinking into that shoulder. And breathe. Excellent. Well done. Let's get you back onto your back for a knees to chest stretch. Have a little gentle roll. And then bring your feet to the floor. So, because we're concentrating on obliques and waist today, we can't not do crisscross. So we'll start gently for beginners, and then I'll gradually take it up. So whichever level you feel happiest with. So for beginners, just to get used to the movement, pop both hands behind your head. Checking your back into neutral. Again, make sure your feet are not too close to your hips. So for crisscross, we start with an oblique abdominal curl, which is to curl up and twist. Now you're aiming shoulder to opposite hip, center and down. Support the head with your hands the whole time. Breathe out to curl up, twist, in and out. Use your tummy, squeeze, don't try not to squeeze your bum too much, but try and keep your pelvis still, so that means pelvic floor. And not letting your lower back sink into the floor. So beginners, just keep the head, or keep the feet on the floor as you work the upper body. Now, if you do want to make it harder, lift your feet into tabletop. Curl up and then twist. Shoulder to opposite hip, center, twist, center, twist, center, twist, center, twist, center. You could always put the head down in between if you need to. And then come back up and twist again. So you do one to each side, rest, and then repeat. So for those of you who want to try the full thing, curl up as you twist left shoulder to right knee, stretch your left leg out. Come back to the center and twist. Make sure you are supporting your head with your hands. Again, think shoulder to opposite hip, not elbow to knee, because you can actually do it without twisting, particularly if you've got long arms and long legs, last two. And then rest, head down and hug the knees in tight. Ooh, well done, have a little gentle roll. Okay, bring your feet back to the floor. So I don't know about you now, but my obliques are screaming, so we need to stretch them a little bit. So we don't want you to be sore tomorrow. I don't want to be sore tomorrow. So take the arms out to the side. Pop your ankle, right ankle across your left knee, and then gently roll to take the knee to the floor, turn the head the other way. So this will give you a nice stretch around your waist, but also down the side of your back. And hold. Keep shoulders flat to the mat. Come back to the center, keep your right ankle where it is, and roll the other way. So as you take that foot to the floor, you'll get the stretch in a slightly different place. And then back to the center, change feet. So left ankle onto the right knee, roll both legs to the left, head to the right. Good roll. floor and turn your head to the left. Hold. And return to the centre. Change feet. Let's repeat that once more on each side. So right ankle onto the left knee, roll. Both legs to the right, head to the left. Oh, that's getting a little bit lower down now my back. This time round, I can go a little bit further. So relax into it, but if you can, just see if you can get those legs down a little bit more. Return to the centre, to the other side, so both legs over, so you get that foot flat on the floor. Oh yeah, I've gone much further this time, can feel the difference. And back to the centre. Okay, last time is the other side, so left foot onto the right knee, both legs to the left, head to the right. So this stretches down the side of the back towards the SI joint. So I can feel that pulling just in here, in a good way, not a painful way. You don't want to feel pain, mild discomfort is all you should feel. Breathe, come back to the centre, both legs to the right. So again, getting that foot flat to the floor if you can, turn the head to the left. So this time we should feel the stretch more into the hip. And then come back to the centre. And replace the feet to the floor. Excellent. Arms down by your sides. Okay, let's do some bridges just to get you bent back the other way. So draw the feet a little bit closer to the hips. Tilt your pelvis, press your back into the mat. Squeezing your buttocks, lift the hips up into bridge. Looking for the diagonal line from the knees through the hips to the shoulders, arms over. Nice big stretch and roll the spine down slowly. Pressing your back into the mat, rolling back to neutral, and then bring your arms back. Perfect, into the next one. So tilt, peel up, firm pressure through both feet, arms over. Try and keep the legs parallel, don't let the knees drift apart. Stretching through your arms, roll the spine down. Pushing your lower back into the mat. Rolling back to neutral. And then bring your arms back. Excellent. Oh, it's lovely. Love a bridge. Slowly back up. So use both feet, push into the knees, squeeze your glutes, keep your chin tucked in. Stretch those arms along the floor. Long breath out to roll down slowly. And roll back to neutral. And then bring your arms back. Now, because we're thinking of working with the obliques today, let's add a little twist into your bridge to work your waist. So it's quite a subtle movement this time. It's a tiny movement. Peel back up into bridge. And hold. Now use the backs of your arms, hands flat to the floor, just to help support you and squeeze your bum. So at this point your pelvis is level, so we're going to relax one buttock and twist. Come back to the centre and to the other side. It's not a massive movement. Try and keep your legs still, so you're working from the waist. So it's this bit that's twisting. Try and keep your ribs square with the shoulders. So you've still got the diagonal line when you're squeezing to push the hip up, and then just dropping it down as you relax the glutes. Last two, and last one. And then rolling it down, slowly. Excellent, well done. Hip flexor stretch to release. So draw one knee in, and slide the other leg out. And change legs. together, let your knees drop out to the side for an inner thigh stretch, and take your arms over your head. Heavenly stretch this one, just relax into it, letting your knees drop, so you're targeting your inner thighs. Try not to push your knees to the floor, just try to relax, because the weight of your knee joints is enough to give you that inner thigh stretch. And breathe. Come out of it gently, bring your knees together, bring your arms back. So outer thigh stretch is next, so we're going to do the piriformis stretch, which targets not just piriformis but your outer thigh. So right ankle across your left knee again. So easy option, push the knee away with your right hand, or put both hands behind the left leg and gently pull. And hold. Try and relax the shoulders, tuck the chin in. Keep pulling that knee towards the same side shoulder, don't let the body twist. Oh yes, feel that now. And as you keep gently pulling, you should start to feel the stretch right down the back of the leg into your glutes as it hits piriformis, which is the muscle underneath your glutes, responsible for abduction and rotation at the hip. Oh, it's good. And then come back in. And repeat on the other side. It's the same thing. Just push the knee away with the hand for your easy option. So if you're struggling with your hip or your arm or shoulders, that's the easy option. You still get the stretch. Harder option, hands behind, and gently pull. And the more you pull on that right leg, right knee to the right shoulder, the more you'll feel it in down the back of the left leg and into the hip. It's good pain, or it should be good pain. Remember, mild discomfort, so if you do feel nasty pain, just stabbing pain, ease off a little bit. And try and hold each stretch for about 20 seconds. Oh, that's lovely. And then relax it down. Excellent. So just get yourself comfortable, and we'll just have a few minutes of relaxation. So bringing your hands just to rest onto the hips, have the feet a little bit wider. And if you want to, close your eyes. You might need to grab another layer of clothing as it's still quite cold. So take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, relax and sink down into the floor. Let your head gently roll a couple of times to each side. Squeezing your shoulder blades together. And then let them go. Relaxing your arms, your hands, and your fingers. Squeeze the buttocks together. And then relax. Relaxing your thighs, your calf muscles, and your feet. And just breathe normally now. And as you breathe, with each breath out, see if you can relax and let go a little bit more. When you're ready and need to move again, wiggle fingers and toes. That just lets your brain know you're going to move. You can stay there longer if you want to. Have a stretch. So sliding the legs down, arms over your head, and stretch. Pull up the toes, pressing your to your side and push yourselves up into sitting position. Whew, well done everybody. Hope you'll feel that in the next day or so, in a good way though, not in a bad way. Quite enjoyed that, with something a little bit different. Take care everyone, I hope to see you all very soon. Bye now.